All right, welcome back, Truth Seeker. Tuesday, October 20th, 2020. The World Series Game 1 just concluded. Clayton Kershaw, born in 1988, the year the Dodgers last won the World Series, was the starter for Game 1. And he moved to second place all time for most strikeouts by a pitcher in the postseason, getting to 201 strikeouts. And of course, all year we've been talking about this number 201 from coronavirus to sports. But just so everyone realizes, it was in 1988 on this date, October 20th, that the Dodgers won their last World Series. In the year 1988, again, 32 years ago today, Clayton Kershaw, born March 19th, 88, months before that World Series took place. But something I pointed out before the game was played, again, we Decode Sports on Patreon, I said, think about the odds of this. Clayton Kershaw comes into this game with 88 career losses. And I pointed out that if he won, he would get his 187th win, a very important number to the Jesuit order, the Society of Jesus, as is the number 201. And again, just wrote a book about this, talking about the significance of these numbers to the Jesuits, who control everything from sports to government to news, who trace back to Rome. They say all roads lead to Rome. Rome used to control people with similar government, similar entertainment, similar tactics of today's rulers. But again, you just got to say, what are the odds of these things just being a coincidence? Clayton Kershaw pitching in Game 1 of the World Series for the Dodgers, who last won it in 88 on this day, and his career record is on 88 losses? I mean, these are impossible coincidences. And with regards to it being the 32-year anniversary, remember in Gematria, the most pure cipher, America equals 32. 7/4/1776, 32 date numerology. The Jesuit logo, which is the sun with the sun rays, 32 sun rays on their logo. The Jesuits. And notice the rays, 32 sun rays, 32-year anniversary, the rays. Their logo's got the sun rays in it too, not 32, but similar. And here's Clayton Kershaw's stats. In the regular season, he's 175 and 76, and Clayton Kershaw equals 175. So that's another thing that you could say is a big coincidence, that this year he has 175 regular season wins. So that's his regular season stats. And then his postseason's right here. Coming into tonight, he was 11 and 12. So when this updates, he'll be 12 and 12 now in the postseason. But if you had his postseason stats with his regular season stats, 76 regular season losses plus 12 postseason losses, which he stayed on, 88. Dodgers haven't won the World Series since 88. And then the other thing about today, big part of the reason I like the Dodgers in the World Series this year, again, for people who are saying all this is hindsight, no, I said before the season began, the NLCS would be the Dodgers and the Braves, and the Dodgers would win. And when they were down 3-1, I pointed out how if they got their 50th, 51st, and 52nd wins, it would be 50, 51, and 52 days from the death of Chadwick Boseman on Jackie Robinson Day. That's if you count the span. If you count days later, today is 53 days later, and the Dodgers got their 53rd win of the season, and Los Angeles is 53. But today leaves 72 days left in the year. Dodgers 72. Their home postseason record improved to 7-2 today. 7-2. They were 6-2 at home, playing in Arlington, Texas, 62. But here it is, the 1988 World Series, the last one by the Dodgers, October 20th, the day it ended. And California is also 88 to add some extra significance to the number. But again, what are the odds of these things being a coincidence? And if you're new here and you think this is a coincidence, by the way, we said LeBron James would win the finals in his 17th season, bringing home the 17th championship for the Lakers the day he signed on 1/7 when NBA's 17. But again, remember what LeBron just did. And don't forget the Lakers scored 116 points in Game 1. This is the 116th World Series. Been talking about on Patreon how the Dodgers and Lakers seasons are connected. Kobe Bryant, all this stuff, all year. But remember, Father-Daughter Day in Gematria, alphabetic order, forwards and backwards. All these numbers really matter up here, but just this right here. Father-Daughter Day was Sunday that the Lakers won the NBA Finals. And Kobe and Gianna Bryant, the big story this year, father and daughter. The Sunday the Lakers won it, October 11th, that was Father-Daughter Day. LeBron got his 172nd postseason win on the 287th day of his age. And again, his birthday is December 30th. But here, I'll just put it up here. LeBron James' birthday, December 30th. Remember, LeBron was born 201 days after the NBA Finals ended in 84. Jesuits controlling it all. But, and again, what I'm saying, these players are born and bred to be. Born, named, birthed accordingly for their planned, scripted sports roles, because these sports leagues are scripted decades out in advance. These players are born to fit the script, which means most of them are joining the league around, 20, 21, 22 years old, so that's how far out these scripts are written, at least, that you're living out, that we're witnessing. But LeBron's birthday, December 30th, 2019, to the day that he won the NBA Finals, October 11th, 2020. It was his 287th day of his age, and Father-Daughter Days, 172 and 87. And by the way, why is Tampa, Florida, just dominating after Tom Brady goes there? They just won the Stanley Cup. Notice Tampa, Florida's 116, like the 116th World Series. And Tom Brady, again, just another big coincidence, right? Tom Brady goes to Tampa. They win the Stanley Cup. They're in the World Series. All just a big coincidence. But what's considered the most pure cipher in Gematria is the alphabetic order with the rules numerology, the dark blue cipher. Tom Brady's full name, 116. We've been documenting how the Rays versus Boston, the Lightning versus Boston, how all these games in these different sports leagues are all perfectly coordinated with the NFL season and Brady's signing and the date of the Super Bowl. And again, it's just... I don't know how they get away with these scripts. They just mock people year after year with all the sports. LeBron coming back, winning on the real King James' birthday. And again, by the way, all things that we called out long before they happened. Because we're paying attention. You know, they're not getting away with it with us. But this 201 thing, again, 201 is a very important number to the Jesuit order, who serve Rome, where all this bread and circus comes from. But to make a point, again, there's many ways to prove how important 201 is to the Jesuits. One is to look at the first Jesuit pope, Pope Francis, born Jorge Mario Bergoglio, whose name equals 201, just like Ignatius of Loyola, the founder of the Jesuits, is 201. Pope Francis, the first Jesuit pope, is the first ever to live in Suite 201 in the building known as the Domus Sancti Marte 201. You think that's a joke? It's too bad, because here's them laughing in your face. By the way, this was another game we called, right? And thank God, you know, the Falcons gave up the monster lead over the Cowboys, because the Cowboys had a great riddle to win that day, and they did. But we pointed out before the game was played that this was Matt Ryan's 201st game, and he was Jesuit educated at Boston College, and we didn't know they were going to do this, but watch, here's a clip right from the game. So they're showing that the passing yards on the screen is 201 laps around the stadium that the game's at. And this was Matt Ryan's 201st career game. And again, he went to Boston College, Jesuit school, one of 27 Jesuit universities in the nation. These were Matt Ryan's stats coming into the game. And he was 113 and 87, and Dallas is 113, and Cowboys is 87. But he picked up his 88th loss in that game. Braves gave up a massive lead in the NLCS to the Dodgers. Falcons gave up a massive lead to Tom Brady and the Patriots. But anyway, the Jesuit order is 201. Boston College Jesuit order, the exact same in the stat they showed. They showed Matt Ryan at 54,000 and some yards. They also put up that stat about 126. This game was 126 days after his birthday. And again, we've been talking about these numbers all year, including with Kobe Bryant dead on 126, Gianna Bryant 126. Ongoing rituals, same repetitive patterns, all these big coincidences. All year we talk about 201. Just wrote a new book about it. Just been talking about 201 all year. These examples just continue to build. 201, first horse race during the time of coronavirus. Don't forget the Event 201 coronavirus outbreak simulation, October 18, 2019, the same day the military World Games began in Wuhan, China, which traced back to Rome. But anyway, Clayton Kershaw pitching on a coincidental date gets a coincidental number for career postseason strikeouts if everything's just a coincidence. I had a younger man call me today. He's just real depressed. He doesn't know what to do because his parents are treating him like he's crazy because he's trying to share this information with him. And then they're telling him that all they'll say to it back to him is, it sounds like you've been taken by a cult. And that's also what that Brian guy's accusing me of being, a cult leader. It's like, cult? We don't have any rules. I'm just showing day after day how this knowledge and these repetitive patterns are used. I mean, to call this a cult, I don't know. Really doesn't add up. I'd say that's just more cognitive dissonance and name-calling, unsubstantiated. Pointing out the obvious as a cult. I guess we got to rewrite the definition. So, anyway, that's that. But the coincidences aren't done here. Again, we covered all this. But that's not where the coincidence is in. In the headlines tonight, CNN had this up as one of their breaking stories. Tony Lewis of the outfield dead at 62. Outfield? That's baseball terminology. The outfield. If you're not familiar with baseball, you got your infield and your outfield. When you're up to bat, there's guys that are closer to you on the defense, and then there's guys that are further out there. Those guys that are further out there are the outfield. Sorry, I'm just trying to explain baseball to somebody who knows nothing about the sport. Baseball, there's 4 bases. You start at home plate, you try to hit the ball, and then you got to run to first base. Then you want to make it to second, third, back home. If you hit it far into the outfield, there's a good chance you can run all the way around the bases. But Tony Lewis of the outfield dead at 62. And the thing about today is normally the 293rd day of the year, which is the 62nd prime. And if you saw my videos on March 29th, a date that can be written 29/3 like 293, there were all these stories with 293 and 62 all day. It was crazy. I mean, I think I did like a compilation video at the end of the night. People dying, hospitalized, coronavirus. It was just 293, 62 all over the place. And then the other thing is we always talk about 62 in these suspicious deaths. It corresponds with the gematria of sacrifice. And in this case, they say he died today, Tuesday, October 20th, the day of Game 1 of the World Series, baseball outfield. But his birthday is December 21st, 57. So, first of all, I always explain how 57 is the World Series number. Always. World Series equals 57 in the most pure cipher. The last time the Dodgers and Rays played before tonight was September 18th, 2019. Exactly 57 weeks from today's game. But World Series 57, last year the Astros lost to the Nationals in the World Series. They picked up their 57th postseason loss to be eliminated. Again, we had that one called before the postseason began. Nationals over Astros in Game 7. But this man born in 57, and from the day of his birthday, counting back to today, the day he died 62 days short of his birthday, dead at 62. Again, sacrifice 62, Faustian bargains 62, which is a deal with the devil. But more importantly, this year's World Series is in Arlington, Texas, 62. And remember, there was a huge ritual with 62 in the World Series last year. The umpire died just before the World Series began. His name was Eric Cooper. Hold on, I gotta go back to my old blog because it was on this blog got maxed out. Okay, it wasn't. Okay, there were 2 umpires that died. So Eric Cooper was 52. Damn, and then there was an umpire right after him. And look at this. This is a year ago too. This is October 20th. There was an umpire who died right after him at age 62, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, but look, I was talking about the same thing last year. This guy, dead on the 293rd day of the year, the 62nd prime. And last year, before this happened, we were saying the World Series was going to go to Game 7 on the day leaving 62 days left in the year because they've been coding it all year from the first game of the season up through the end. And Houston, Texas equals 62. And Game 7 of the World Series last year on the day leaving 62 days left in the year was decided 6-2. So here we are a year later, and we're talking about the same number. Last year we were talking about the death of an umpire, Eric Cooper, on the 293rd day of the year, the 62nd prime. That's what it was with him. His name equaled 62. He wasn't 62 years old. Eric Cooper, 62. But see, this is what I mean. And you guys, I don't remember everything. I know a lot of you guys think I have a good memory, but I probably forget 90% of the things I talk about, at least. There was a second umpire who died. Actually, that second umpire who died, I remember now, he was 63 years old. And we said, look at that, 52 plus 63, 115 years of age, 115th World Series. His name might have been 62 as well. But 62 was coded up and down last year. Here we are a year later, and we're talking about a dead 62-year-old musician for the outfield. So it's just, and again, Houston, Texas, 62, and then they end up losing the World Series on the day leaving 62 days left in the year by a score of 6-2. Eric Richard Cooper, 105, Nationals, 105. The Nationals, when they won the World Series last year, got their 105th win of the season. Umpire 82, Washington Nationals. So again, it's clockwork, you guys. They do the same stuff with the same numbers year after year. And I guess I feel bad for the person who thinks me showing this makes me a cult leader. It's like, no, I'm just trying to put out information and knowledge because knowledge is power. And there's evil people operating in this world and getting away with it. And most people don't have a clue. So I don't know. I think the truth is that most people who refuse to see what this work is, the truth, it's that they're cowardly, they're scared, they're fearful, they're too proud of their ignorance. They can't admit that they've been duped all these years by these rigged sports games, which is pretty sad because these games are pathetic. You like that Mike Zunino bat? Oh, you could just tell the Mike Zunino at bat, one of them, it was just such a scripted strikeout. You could just see it on his face because he wasn't even trying. I mean, he didn't even look like he was trying to hit the ball. It looked like he was swinging blind, like it was the first time he ever had an at bat in his life, like it was the first time he ever saw Major League pitching. You know, he liked the Game 7 riddle against the Houston Astros, the 43rd pitch of the game by number 43 McCullers. Looking the most pure cipher. Go back and look it up. This is a fact. Or I'll just show you the screenshot in a moment. Mike Zunino. Tampa Bay Rays 43. I was just waiting until I was like, here we go. 43rd pitch. 43rd pitch of the game by number 43 gets jacked out of the park. Same guy tonight who was just up at the plate, like just swinging for strikeouts, like he could give two shits. He's like, I don't like this script. But also, it was off the Astros pitcher, and that's another 43. And, yeah, it's just... So I just want to make those points, and I suppose I can take a few calls. If you're a regular out there, you know, if you're on Patreon, just give me a call tomorrow for the Patreon show. When I open up the phone line in a moment, the only people I really want to hear from are the people who think it's all a coincidence, just in case it makes me laugh, because you can always use a good laugh. But... yeah, I mean, really? You're really going to try to argue that all this stuff's a coincidence? I mean, don't make me pull out the resume. So, let me see here. Okay, the line is open. I'm only going to stay on for a little bit. This isn't going to go on too long, but we'll say about 10 minutes. 10 minutes of phone calls. So don't filibuster either. If you call in, right to the point. Caller?
Hey, man. I just want to make a point. So you mentioned how Tom Brady goes to Tampa, and all of a sudden Tampa teams are doing good, right? You know, there was actually a study today that everywhere Tom Brady has ever lived, when he's living there, their teams do good. So I'm going to put this, for example, he grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area, 49ers fans, 49ers were winning championships. He went to college in Ann Arbor, which is close to Detroit. The Red Wings, they were winning Stanley Cups at the time. Then he gets drafted by the Patriots in Boston. Boston teams are, well, they've been spoiled the past decade ever since he's been there.
Right, they ended their curse.
Yeah. I just wanted to put that out there. I have something else that's not sports related. I'll call another time.
Okay. Appreciate it, man.
All right.
All right, so okay. Well, that was helpful, but not exactly what I was looking for. Where's all the coincidence theorists at? These coincidence theorists are always loud in the comments, but they never call in. Caller?
Hello, Zach. How are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
All right. I have a question.
Okay.
What you think about the Dallas game?
The Dallas game yesterday?
And the Cardinals. Yeah, and the Cardinals.
Yeah.
I think that game was for the Cardinals because they had.
Oh, it was. They told you. They told you They told you the whole storyline before the game even started. They told you that Kyler Murray was, before the game started, their exact quote.
Yeah, this is my first time calling.
Kyler, you got to mute your video in the background and just listen to me through the phone. But Kyler Murray, they put up a stat that he was 6-0 in AT&T Stadium before the game even began. And we pointed out right there, we said there, because AT&T Stadium equals 70. So him becoming 7-0, like 70, perfect riddle. Plus, they also said that when he was in high school, he was 42-0, and that night his team could become 4-2, and Arizona equals 42. And that's exactly what he did. So they told you the whole narrative right through that quote and the stat on the screen just before kickoff.
Yeah. So, Zach, what I'm thinking is Dallas throw that game. I seen it. I seen
Sure. Look at how Elliott was carrying the ball on the fumble that got punched out on the short pass. Why is he holding the ball back behind him? No football player carries a football back. Yeah, you can.
It's like it was a throw game. Am I right about it?
Every game is fixed in the NFL. There's never been a game in the history of the National Football League since 1966 that wasn't fixed. Every last game is fixed. All. Period.
Yeah. I knew he thought that guy because I was watching Elliott. He had thrown that ball behind his hand. I mean, he was asking for it, and then it's a lot of foosball was going on too. And then the one that took over after Prescott, he was throwing that ball and he was smiling about it. I already knew it was a set game before it started.
Yeah, they told you it was.
That was the beginning of the game.
Yeah, they told, if you pay attention to these storylines and you know Gematria, because a lot of times the numbers they put up, once you just get in the repetitive pattern of seeing what numbers they use with teams, just when they put up these stats, a lot of times you know who has won the game already. Sunday Night Football, they put up a stat early that Jimmy G had won, or it was his 29th game, and he had never lost back-to-back, and there's only 3 quarterbacks ahead of him who have a longer streak. I knew as soon as they put up that stat, the 49ers had won the game because Rams equals 30. He was going to extend the streak to 30 games against the Rams. So, again, these stats they put up, these storylines for the game, if you know Gematria, they're telling you pretty much the outcome of the game.
Yeah, my husband Marcus had told me about you and stuff like that. But I already see that your name is cold, and you already know what you're talking about.
Well, for years I just watched stuff like what you saw. Like I would spot how the running back would be carrying the ball back behind him, where a running back would never hold the ball when they get punched down. I'm like, and you just see the stupid plays
Yeah.
week after week that don't make any sense. It's like, how can the?
Yeah,
How,
but I think that was some stuff that, like you saying, I think that's some stuff that it's just been already, like you said,
yeah.
it's already been already spoken to where they was gonna do it anyways. It's already something already co-rehearsed.
Indeed, it is. It is.
And you know what, Zach? Hey, hold up, Zach. Well, you know who I am. Check this out. I was telling my gal about you. She just started really listening to me when I was telling her months ago about this and that, numbers, this and that. I'm like, baby, I ain't bullshitting you. I'm like, because don't nobody know. You know, I try to tell people, and you know what, Zach? I'm going to tell you straight up, man. They look at me like, man, you tripping, man, this and that. But over the past few months, based off the pandemic, I was like, baby, look at these numbers. Check this shit out. Look at this. Look at that. That's the same thing Zach is talking about. And she got on board with me, man. Because at first she was like, oh, man. Because everybody is a coincidence theorist. They're like, oh, man, you know, everybody pointed off as that. But with that also being stated, once I told her, I was like, all right, well, that's what you say? Because we've been watching games. I was like, baby, look at this. And then, Zach, I ain't going to say I got that good. But, brother, when it comes to basketball and all of that, Zach, I'm almost able to say what the score going to be before the end. I'm like, what is it? Is it 87? Is it 113? Is it 106? I'm just talking about just different numbers that you talk about over the past time that's relevant to the final score. I say, baby, watch, it's going to be 113, 116, or whatever, 111, stuff like that. And I'm like, baby, look. And then when the score is that, she's like, how the hell do you know that? I'm like, babe, I've been telling you all this shit rigged. This shit is like this shit is like that. She finally opening her eyes to see this shit, Zach. Well, and she was like, fuck that. I'm gonna call Zach right now. Because I got the notion that you were on your live stream. I say, baby, if you don't believe me, you call in. And I was like, I don't know if you're gonna be able to get in or whatever the case may be, but you call Zach and ask him for yourself. Cause she a Cowboy fan. That's why she was asking you about the Cowboy, and she was tripping. I say, baby, look, you worried about the wrong thing. I'm like, baby, it's scripted. It's no, for months. I mean, dude, I've been with her a long time, but anyway. She more or less was, I'm not going to say she was a doubter, but I was like, baby, look, I ain't asking you to follow me. I ain't in no cult. I'm not in any of that. I'm about information. And it took her all of these months and time before she actually believed me. And she finally called your show for the first time. I'm like, you call Zach right now, he'll tell you. And I got the notification that she was online, and she wasn't believing me. I was like, well, call him then. And everything that went down, she was like, I don't know how he know that. This is what she told me. She was like, I don't know how he know that, or how he know this, or how he know that with these numbers. But she was like, that motherfucker, they're a genius. But she used the N-word. She was like, that nigga a genius. You know how people talk, but I know you ain't that, and I'm not that either. But what she was saying is she couldn't fucking believe it.
Well, just like, you figure it out once you're. Well, again, all I did was notice that they kept using the same numbers over and over, and I was determined to figure out what those numbers meant. It took a long time, but we understand it more and more.
Baby, he's telling you about them numbers. Listen to him. Say it again, Zach.
Well, I just said to you, when you start to pay attention, you start to see the same numbers show up day after day, and then so I was trying to figure out what the meaning of the numbers was.
Yeah, you go right there. Now you can ask him that other stuff. I'm telling you, baby. I want bullshit. That's what it is. And you called him and he telling you.
Yes, because I would like to know. Because the simple fact, I seen stuff going on and stuff like that. And then I think about it. Cardinals had somebody who passed. He was a younger guy, like a black guy.
You got to look at the 44-day numerology. I mean, you're going to get 64. Well, he'll tell you the days when
let him tell me. Let him tell me.
Tell her. She don't believe me.
Let him tell me.
All right. There you go.
Yes. But I wanted to know what's going on. I was like, ain't no way in hell Dallas have lost games like this. So I already know things is a ritual. And I already see it.
Yeah.
It ain't been going like that for years.
That's how it is.
And the thing about it, we just been blind.
People don't want to see it, and again, they treat the fans like they're dumb because look at Andy Dalton comes in 2 weeks ago after Dak gets hurt, comes in, throws the ball.
He came in playing foosball. He came in all right. He did good after Zach had won. Zach had really won the game, but he had got injured. But the thing about it, Zach had injured himself. Yeah, I know Zach. He know who I'm talking about. Zach, he already know.
Zach Prescott.
Yes, Zach Prescott. He had injured himself, but I already knew what was going on. I was like, this ain't nothing but a Richard Rowe. I was like, if I tell this to somebody, they gonna tell me I don't know the best. I'm crazy.
But what fans, what I was gonna say though is what fans should see is Andy Dalton came in and threw the ball perfectly, right to the spot, like he hadn't missed a beat, like he's been starting, like he has chemistry already with these receivers. Just comes in and makes it look easy. Then this week, Andy Dalton can't throw the ball at all. He's just way off the mark, just terrible throws. And I don't know how people see, like, as someone who's an athlete and who can throw a ball well, like, I don't have bad days throwing the ball. Not ever. There might be days where I throw the ball even better than I normally do, but it's never like I'm just so god-awful and I forgot how to throw a ball and I forgot how to hit the receiver in the spot and lead him. You watch these NFL receivers, it's just like there's no way if they're on that stage that they're this bad. Because you're just not that bad if you're good at sports. You don't ever just come out and just play god awful like so often these. And again, that's why because the NFL scripted this way, it gives you that belief that any given Sunday that a bad team can beat a good team. That's just bullshit. That doesn't happen in sports. If you're a good team, you don't lose to a bad team. You waste that bad team every time because they're a bad team.
That's true.
So.
And that's why I was so upset. I was so upset. It's like you say, you have games and you have upsets. And do you ever watch the Skip and Shannon show?
The what?
The Skip and Shannon show.
Oh, I try not to watch that. No, I try not to watch that. I can't stand that dude. Skip Bayless.
Which one you can't stand?
Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless I can't stand, and Shannon Sharp's mumbling all the time. I can't even understand what he's talking about. So it's just like, to me, it's the worst show. But no, I don't watch that one.
Let me ask Zach something real quick. Hey, Zach. Hey, man, I know we're going to let you go, man. Hey, I appreciate you taking, my old lady's call, man. I appreciate that, Zach, man, because that was her first time calling into the show, and I've been telling her. I know you wanted to know. Wait. I know. I've been telling you what the deal is for a long time. Zach, I'm going to tell you, I ain't saying I'm converting my old lady, but goddamn, man, she understands. When I be talking numbers and all of this, she's starting to really see it. Because at first, she was looking at me like, man, nigga, you in the fucking coat? What the fuck you doing? You following this motherfucker and all that? I'm like, baby, look, check this out. I'm like, I know, but that's how you was treating me. You was like, man, I get that. But you really didn't totally believe. But you didn't totally believe what I was saying when I was telling you.
That was the man, and I want to hear more information.
Well, she doesn't have to feel bad about her position. I mean, what you guys have going on is what most people have going on, because it's like somebody's figuring about this knowledge, and then the other person in the relationship's like, I don't know about all this. I never heard about all this number stuff. But then if you actually pay attention to it, it just becomes undeniable. They do this to you every night if you pay attention. So.
And Zach, I'm going to ask you one question, man. Well, I'm going to ask you about some numbers, and I'm going to let you go. What is 227? I mean, Yes, 227. What is that? Because I'm like 227, 74 in the most pure, and then I got the 259.
Remember,
Black Lives Matter.
227 is the 49th prime number. Like yesterday, Andy Reid got his 227th win in the 49th game between the Bills and the Chiefs. So he gets his 227th win in the 49th game between those teams. 227, the 49th prime. And like for example,
I got you.
For example, in Washington D.C., if you write out ancient and accepted Scottish rite of Freemasonry, it's 227, and if you just write out Scottish alone, it's 49. Huh?
Yeah, you remember I was asking you because in my name, brother, Zach. Look, man, Marcus LeVar and Smith. Now, of course, there's 227, 74, 259, and then 115. Remember, we talked about that at one time. But check this out, Zach. What I want to ask you is this right here. Now, I told you I'm totally synced up with the state I'm in. I mean, Louisiana is sportsman's paradise. If you do, I mean, we've done this before, so you know what I'm saying. So, 22, okay, and I know what 74 is. We all know. And then, check this out, Zach. In my middle name, LeVaron. It's 106 with the Black Lives Matter. And dude, see, like everything that's happening right now is encoded in my name, bro, and it's fucking with me. Well, I mean, I got the 10. If you do my name, Marcus LeVaron Smith, you're gonna see the 227. You're gonna see the 74. You're gonna see the 259, and you also gonna see the 115. But then if you just do my middle name, LeVaron 106. That's I can't breathe, all of that, man. I'm like, man, am I gonna get killed? Is somebody gonna do some shit to me? Man, Zach, everything that even because we had this conversation months ago. This may have been 6 months ago, prior to the pandemic, when we was talking about this, and I'm like, man, all this is everything that's happening now is encoded in my name, bro. And if you do it on your own time, or if you're doing it right now, where the people on TV can see, and you put my name in, and then you be like, damn, this guy's a perfect match. I'm a perfect match in all 4 cycles with the state that I live in. And not only that, my middle name, everything, like if you look at Marcus, that's 42, like you talk about LeBron James, 42 and all I'm like, man, I'd be scared out here, Zach, man. And I know you got a lot of people listening right now, and I don't want to freak nobody out because I know that there's an organic side to it. And, you know, I don't know if you met anybody or know anybody that was linked up with all of this, but that's what it is, Zach, and I be freaked out, man. And it gets to the point to where I'm just like, man, I don't even know what to do. But I still do my thing, but I be cautious. And because I'm like, I look at everything that's happening around the world, and Zach, on your own time, or when you get off the air, whatever, if you know my name, Marcus LeVaron Smith, we can talk about this. And I look at everything you talked about is like this shit's fucking encoded in my name, and I'm fucked up with that. And I know my mom and dad didn't know what they was doing when they named me. They like, oh, his name is Marcus LeVaron Smith. And I'm like, and then that's like, I was born in Minnesota, but if you look at Minnesota, and then you look at here, what, both of them like 39, what, they 39 or 93? What's Minnesota?
Louisiana and Minnesota are 38.
38, yeah, that's what it is, 38. You see what I'm saying, man? Yeah. I was born there and came to another 38 state, Zach, man. This, me and you talked about this. Maybe I shouldn't be even talking about this personal things while we doing what we doing, because I know 1 million people are listening and we online and all of that. Probably shouldn't be even divulging this information, but Zach is fucked up, bro. And I just be like, man, I don't know, man.
Well,
I'm for real, man. But I'm going to tell you, I haven't had any strange things to happen, but the more people I tell this knowledge to, as far as Gematria, even when dealing with my old lady and all that, and just dealing with family members, man, people looking at me like, man, he lost it, man. People around here, and I'm like, they're like, well, he's successful. He got money. He do what he do and all this. But why is he like this? All of a sudden, he like this. All of a sudden, like I told my people, like when I say my people, that's my mom and dad, this family. I'm like, nah, they know all of a sudden or this or that. I'm just trying to see exactly what we up against. And I'm like, once you find out what you up against, you will have a better opportunity of defeating the opposition. I mean, Zach, man, dude, I listen to you, even when you live stream or whatever you're doing, I'm on it, man. And I put my girl on it, man, because I'm like, hey, you need to know this. This shit is serious. It's beyond all of this just working a 9-to-5 job. Fuck that shit. It's beyond this. I'm like, man, what's going on right now is life and death. That's what it is, Zach. It's life and death, man. Ain't no games out here. This ain't no whatever you want to call for fun. This is not recreation, what we're doing. Man, this life and death. This the world, man. Your soul on the line, Zach. Mine, too. That's just like I've been listening to the shows. I listen to a lot of things, man. I just be like, damn, man. That's why I understand your passion about what you do, because you understand. Zach, if you ask me, you should have 1 million subscribers. Fuck that. More than 1 million. You should be up there with these athletes that be having 100 million subscribers, 80 million subscribers. You should be up there, bro. You should be up there, because this knowledge right here is as good as a motherfucker throwing a ball through a hoop, catching a touchdown, hitting a baseball. Because I'm like, all them motherfuckers right there that went pro, some kind of way, it may be in my lifetime or whoever lifetime, they're going to die by the numbers. And I've been telling everybody. I'm like, motherfuckers die by the numbers, dog. Freaking situation, bro. True story. Richard Wayne Adams is my cousin. He died just last month. We buried him, brother. Check this out. They found my cousin in San Francisco. Zach, I did a decode on that. He wasn't living right and all of that. They say he died from an overdose. His name is Richard Wayne Adams. 103 was coded in his name, and 40 was in his name. Overdose was 103, and that's what they said he died from. And guess what was also encoded? 40. That's how old he was when he died. And everybody be trying to pay me money. They'll be like, man, give me a read. I'm like, man, I don't really know much about it. I'm really just learning myself, but I know enough to put this shit together and go to the Gematria calculator, and I put people's name in based on what happened, and his shit matched up. Overdose was 103. If you do Richard Wayne Adams, you're going to see that 103, and if you put overdose in there, that's 103, and he died at 40. And that's in his name, brother. Man, that shit spooked the fuck out of me, man. I know we online. I know, but we ain't on TRS, so okay. I'm not trying to use bad language, man, but I'm not trying to get overexcited about these things, but that's what happened. Based off the knowledge that you gave me and that you get a world, Zach, man, I'm telling you, man, and people tripped out. People thought, they was like, man, who the fuck are you? How the hell you knew that? Or how could you do that? Just like you be saying, my name is Zachary Keith Hubbard, and you like, hey, man, I can't make these numbers up. The numbers are what they are. Zach, people was almost afraid. They like, man, you on some black magic shit? Are you in a fucking cult? I'm like, man, hell no. I'm like, man, just check this shit out. Everybody like, man, hey, man, you in some satanic shit, man. That's satanic. It's satanic. What you doing? I'm like, man, knowing is the key. An application of what you know is even better. That's what I go through, Zach, with this shit. I just got my old lady, on board with what we do and how we doing it. At first, she was like, he and this, nah, fuck that. That just may be. But I'm like, baby, look, man, I can show you the program. I can send you a picture of the damn program, man, and you will see his name, Richard Wayne Adams. They found my cousin in San Francisco, and he had his crack pipe beside him or whatever, however it went. But it was said that he died from an overdose. And, man, it fucked me up. When I put his name in and put overdose in, everything matched up from what he died from and the age he died, bro.
Yeah,
I'm so serious, man. And people trying to give me money for this, Zach, but I can't take no money. My cousin came over, gave me $50. She was like, tell me about me. My brothers, my family members, they be like, man, tell me. Because now they starting to believe, I don't know how that messed up. I ain't going to call it a coincidence, but everything that happened to him was in his name. And I showed it to him. And my family was like, how the hell you did that? I'm like, the numbers on the, I'm like, I didn't do nothing. I just put his name in, and I put in what he died of, And that's what it is. And everything checked out, man. The number checked out. He died at 40. 40 was in his name. 103 was in his name. Overdose, all that was in his name, man. And people was looking at me like I don't know. I don't know, man. It was like, I'm not going to say it was miss this or miss that, but Zach, man, people looking at me like, man, you know something. You ain't telling nobody. I'm like, I'm telling you what it is. Almost like my girl, man, that just called for the first time in the show. Because she been asked, she was like, you need to call Zach because I don't know about this shit. With the games and all of that, I was like, well, he don't now. And she called you. And I was like, Zach gonna tell you. Because she probably be like, you always watching this shit. You always this. And I'm like, baby, look, trust me on this shit. This some real shit that I'm talking to you about. This shit is real. And she see it for herself now. And that's why she be like, oh, man. That's why she was like, I'm calling Zach about this game. Fuck this shit. And I was like, go ahead and call him. He going to tell you.
What's the guy's name?
Anyway, Zach, I ain't mean to go off like that, man. But it's scary, Zach, man. But at the same time, it's okay. And it's cool. Because I understand something. And, you know, when I get with my boys and all that, they be like, hey, man, you better stop all that satanic shit. You better quit following them numbers for some shit happen to your ass and all that. They be trying to knock me off kilter because they think that, like, hey, man, you fucking with a cult. Nigga, you into this shit or you, excuse the N-word, but we just talking. You into this shit? You into that shit? I'm like, man, look, check this out, bro. This is what this is, bro. Ain't nobody changing nothing. I'm like, words are words, letters are letters, and numbers are numbers. And I'm like, hey, man, you better be out here looking at some Kabbalah. I'm like, man, you better understand how the Lord formed everything. He spoke letters. Well, I mean, because if you speak, if I say D, that's a word. But guess what? Numbers make up that word, man. And that's what I tell people. I'm like, anytime you're talking and anytime you do something, the letters that's in the word that you speak, they got numbers. Just like A is 1 all the way to Z is being 26. And if you're doing the reverse, okay, well, we're going to do it the other way. And I try to do it that way and keep it simple, Zach, man. But, bro, based off this knowledge, this teaching, and when I saw that, man, you can put it in yourself, man. As far as my cousin, bro, I can send you a picture of his program where you can see his name. And he died of an overdose. And it was in his name, and the dude died. He was 40 years old and 40 in his name, and he died, bro. What you think about this, Zach?
Well, again, there's an organic side of the code. They say truth is stranger than fiction. So, yeah, it's interesting being aware of this and just seeing how things unfold.
I'm like, man, Zach, I ain't going to bother because I realize, man, when we be talking, man, because I hadn't talked to you in a while, man, and when I get a chance to talk to you, it's okay, and I know you live streaming, and I know you probably got other callers or other people want to get on, man, but I haven't been able to talk to you for a while, and I'm just like, dang, man, when I talk to him, I'm going to ask him about this, and I'm going to ask him about that. Let me see, I already know what the 115 is. Well, what is 115 if you had to say? What's 115? Because every number that I say, you know, I already talked about it. So I'm just like, what does that mean? I know it's the organic side, but Zach, man, dude, that shit is scary, man. Some knowledge, man, may not be for me. Because the more I find out and the more I study and the more I follow, it takes me even further down that damn hole. And, man, people be like, man, you better leave that shit alone, man. That shit. People think it's satanic. And I'm like, how could you say that? There ain't nothing about this satanic. This is the truth. This happening in our world. Don't you want to know? I'm like, man, don't you want to know what you up against? I'm like, man, the Jesuits doing what they doing. Everybody doing what they doing. You better fucking get some knowledge. Just like I was telling people the other day, I was like, hey, man, I just seen because I told them, I was like, hey, man, the first, because I was listening to, what is his name that come on the show? His name on the tip of my tongue. That you let come on Wednesdays, and he was talking about, the other day, he was talking about what's going on, I think, because he said he live in New York, and he was talking about what's going on with the Senate bills, and he was talking about the vaccination and all. What's his name that come on every week?
Rambo?
Yeah, Rambo. That's what I'm talking about. I told people about what Rambo was talking about, you know, the age of the child, and I was talking about, hey, man, look, 14, I'm like, man, I just heard the other day based on what the Senate bill that they got over in New York, and if it's in New York, it's only going to be a matter of time before that shit hit all 50 states. And they don't need parents' consent to vaccinate the kid and all of that shit. People like, man, how the hell you know this? We ain't seen that on the news. What the fuck you talking about? I'm like, man, it's coming, man. It's coming. And people think I'm fucking out of my mind, bro.
I know, man. I know how that is. All right, well, I appreciate it.
I'm being real with you.
Yeah, I know, man. I know you are.
Man, I don't know what we can do or what need to be done, bro. But I don't want people looking at me like I'm fucking off kilter, or I'm tripping, or I'm high, or I'm out of my mind. Like, what was wrong with you? People been asking, what was wrong with you? You ain't used to act like that. What's wrong with you? Why you talking that way? Why you saying that? What's wrong with you, boy? I'm like, it ain't nothing like that. I'm like, man, y'all need to check this out for yourself. And then you tell me. Then you tell me. But until then, you don't say that to me. So I'm like, you don't even fucking know what the hell you up against. And I'm like, we all in the same fucking pool. You in this shit too. You in a war. Zach, man, I hate to be wasting your time with this shit, but Zach, bro, I wish you can, I wish you can walk in my shoes, because motherfuckers think I'm crazy. Motherfuckers think I'm out here tripping. Motherfuckers think I'm in a coat and all that old shit, man. I'm like, nah, man, look for yourself, bro. Search it out, man. Search it out. Search it out. People think I'm tripping, bro. I just got my girl on board, man, because for a while she was like, you be listening to this motherfucker, man, you don't know, man. And I'm like, I tell you what, just see for yourself. See, and we talk about date numerology and all that. I'm like, look at this date. Look at this date. Watch this. Watch that. Like all of the dates that you had circled when hurricanes was going to hit land and all of that. All of that shit came true. I'm like, look, see? Remember I told you that? Look at this shit. Did you see that shit? You remember that? Look at this shit. You remember that? Now look at this. And now people like coming to me want to give me money, man, to get their ass a reading like I'm a fucking psychic. And I'm like, I ain't no psychic. You know what I'm saying? But it was because of you that helped me get, a couple other things that I be doing, man, when it comes to people just want to know certain things. And tell me my numbers. Tell me my numbers. Put my name in there, man. Tell me my numbers. Tell me my numbers. And I ain't gonna lie, Zach. I've been taking money, bro. I got to be honest with you. I know it's probably not right, but I got to be honest with you, and I got to be honest with all the viewers and listeners out there. Because of the knowledge that I got from Zachary K. Hubbard, I ain't made no bets in sports and all of that, but the knowledge that I got from Zachary K. Hubbard, people are paying me to give them readings based off me putting their name in a Gematria calculator and telling them what them numbers are. And I'm getting paid off of it. America, because of Zachary K. Hubbard, Zachary K. Hubbard has put money in my... If anybody out there listening, Zach ain't no bullshit. If you listen to him, you'll make some money fucking with Zach. You'll make some money. I don't know how you gonna make it, but all the listeners out there, I'm making money because I understand Gematria, and I'm able, when I put people's name in there, and the numbers come up, and they ask me what these numbers mean, and I'm able to see what I do. I go back to Zach's videos, and I see these numbers, and I just tell them everything associated with the number. And then I just put it in for them, be like, see, I told you, see, I told you, see, I told you. Ladies and gentlemen, Zachary K. Hubbard has made me money. Anybody out there listening, man, y'all need to get down. Not only get down, get your spouse, your wife, your husband involved, man, because where do we go from here? And I thank God for Zach, because he has opened America too small. He's opened the world's eyes to what's really happening to us. And I'm going to say it was God. God gave him what he got to help just a lowly person like me to understand some other things and be able to put things in perspective. So all the listeners out there, man, fuck the coincidence. Zach know what he talking about. I mean, y'all need to get on board. Whatever it is, he can tell you. That's all I got to say, man. and I know I'm wrong for making money off of that. But let me keep it real. I ain't wrong for making no money because I'm going to make me some money. But this was another avenue for me to make some money. And I'm getting $50 a pop, $75. People come to my house for a reading because I listen to Zachary K. Hubbard and I understand Gematria, and I'm able to put these numbers into perspective for these people, and I get money for it. So I thank Zachary K. Hubbard for giving me another, I don't want to say stream of income or something like that. I ain't making a bunch of money off of it, but I've made money. All because I listen to him, I tune in to his show, and I explain, and I talk about it. Now people come to me like I'm a psychic, like, how the hell you know this? All the dates that he had circled for the storms, the date that they came down and came to land, he was correct about it all. So for all of the naysayers out there, for all of the people with these bullshit channels that just want to sell T-shirts, and to all of these individuals out there that just don't want to do right because y'all afraid of this man, and fuck having 58,000 subscribers. He need 1 million. So everybody out there listening, man, we need to help boost him up. Boost him up, because if he go high, we go high. We go high as a truth community. So at this point, Zach, he's the man, and that's all I got to say. And I'm just going to get in line like I've been in line, learn what I need to learn. I mean, a lot of people out there, y'all done made money because y'all done called the show. Y'all done made money off his sports predictions. Y'all done made money because of what Zachary K. Hubbard is talking about. If that's the case, man, y'all need to be talking to other people about it, man. I know numbers game. I know I was listening to you the other day, man. You was like, damn, man, it's like this, it's like that. You know, and you was talking about you can get the book here, they sold out here, or this or that. Everybody that's listening, you need to buy a copy of this book. This book is life-changing for everybody out there listening, and to everybody out there that's on the brink or on the ropes about anything. Man, buy the damn book, and you're going to understand everything that's going on. I mean, even this year, he's made great predictions. He said a lot of things that is true. I ain't going to call him no prophet. I ain't going to say Zachary K. Hubbard is a prophet. I'm just going to say Zachary K. Hubbard is a good friend of mine. That's all I know. I ain't never met him. He ain't never met me. But the thing of it is, he got a great spirit. He know what he's talking about. He's on point. And if you got a problem with Zachary, you got a problem with me and the rest of the true community. That's all I'm going to say, Zach, bro. I'm done, bro.
All right. I appreciate it. You have a good evening.
Love you, man.
All right.
Love you, man. Take care, man. We'll do it again. Thanks for picking up a call, man. But I thank you for talking to my old lady, because she the one that was like, I'm going to call Zach. I got to ask him about this damn game that's been burning her ass for a couple of days. And then just so happened, I got the notification that you was live streaming. I said, baby, he online right now. She was like, you better call him. You better call him. I was like, well, you call him. You the one that got all the questions, because you thinking, I don't know what I'm talking. You call him. That's why she called you, Zach. And everything that you said proved everything that she was thinking. Her suspicion is gone now, bro.
Well, she has eyes to see too. She saw.
Can be like that.
Well, it was nice that when I explained how Zeke was holding the ball back behind her, she got that right away. So I know she knows what she's talking about too. And now sports fans should see that stuff week after week. So, all right, man. But I appreciate it. Yeah.
Hey, Zach, man, I love you, man. You take care, man. Take care, man. I love you, man. And you be careful out there, Zach. No matter what happens, you keep doing what you're doing, man. I don't know what tomorrow holds, but I tell you what, keep putting good content out there. Keep doing what you're doing. Stay encouraged, man. I love you. I'm going to be praying for you, man. And that's that, man. So I'm out, man. I'm out.
All right. Have a good night, Marcus. Take care.
All right.
All right. See you, man. All right. Let's go out to Phoenix. Oh, hold on. The volume is wrong. Let's try that again. All right, there we go, Phoenix.
You ready?
I'm here.
There's this video I wanted you to check out on YouTube. Because, you know, we've been talking about if it's, it must be magic if it's not rigged, right?
Sure.
But there's this guy on YouTube, and he has this video where he's talking about using magic to influence an outcome on a football game, NFL.
They did that with Tom Brady and Gisela, Super Bowl 53. She said she was a good witch, and she cast the spell to make sure her husband wins.
Yeah, this guy's saying that he did a favor for a friend. They were all sad about, I think it was the Seattle Seahawks back in 2015 or something.
Okay.
And
must have been Super Bowl 49.
Right. And he said he influenced the game, and he was like, the outcome for the outcome to be that way, the odds were ridiculous, but he said that he did some type of spell to influence the outcome to come out that way, and he ended up winning or whatever. So I was just trying to maybe throw that out there and see if maybe you want to check that out, because we've been trying to figure out if it's not rigged, then it must be some type of magic spell, right?
Something going on. So.
Something's going on, right? Exactly. But I just thought it was interesting. I came across that. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So,
I'll check it out. I appreciate it.
yeah, it's called Mind and Magic. If you get a chance.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Zach.
Yeah. See you.
Call from.
Caller.
Hi, Zach.
Hello.
Hey, I got a couple quick... Hello, can you hear me?
Yep, I can.
Okay, good. I got a couple questions. One is about the game ending at the score of 8-3.
Yeah, that's an interesting score. That is an interesting
Okay.
score. So again, all of this stuff is synced up with Tom Brady. Tom Brady's birthday is August 3rd. Football equals 83. A lot of 83 rituals. There was a big ritual earlier this year with the Rays. I think it was the Rays in Baltimore series. I think that's what it was. Tropicana Field equals 83, where the Rays normally play. And they became 8-3 at home against Baltimore earlier this year. I forget what the other piece of that was. It was synced up with Brady's birthday. But all of these riddles that are going on with Tampa Bay are all structured through Tom Brady and the date he signed with the Rays. So 83 is a number that connects a lot to football and Tom Brady.
Okay. So, and maybe with Tiger getting his 83rd this weekend at the Zuzu, I kind of see something in that.
Okay, that's interesting. So Tiger's next tournament wins 83?
It'll be his 83rd if he wins.
Okay, that's interesting.
And that's this Sunday if it happens. But I had another question about, because Tiger's born on December 30th, and I heard you talk about that.
Yeah, just like LeBron.
And how significant that day was.
Yeah, LeBron and him have the same birthday. Same with Tyrese. They all got that December 30th birthday.
And then he's a 135 and a 54, Tiger Woods. 135
Oh, yeah.
54.
Oh, yeah, those are big numbers with him. Yeah.
Jesuit Order 54. Okay.
Yeah.
And then he's from Cyprus. Cyprus is 33. Then they talk about him being on his home course.
Okay. Yeah, if there's any big 83s in the tournament name or the course, that would make it all the more interesting, because usually that's how the riddle is for golf, is structured through the course and the tournament name. But yeah,
right.
so.
It's kind of tough. This is the second year of the tournament, and they moved it from Japan to the U.S.
Okay, that's interesting.
And then it's a combo tournament with the Japanese Pro Tour.
Okay.
So, but there's a lot of I don't know what I would call it. I got to see it get rolling here.
Yeah.
But it's being played at Lake Sherwood Country Club at Lake Sherwood, California. And Lake Sherwood, California, the most relevant cipher is 59.
Okay.
I thought that was interesting. And Lake Sherwood Country Club is at 90.
And I found or Sherwood Country Club is a 90. And then what was the significance of the number 261?
251?
61.
261 is the United States of America. Cornerstone for DC, laid on the 261st day of the year. The U.S. dollar bill's 2.61 inches tall. So it's just some stuff like that.
Okay. Okay, that's important because they even in the stats they compared the yen to the dollar on the page. It was very interesting why they did that and how they're going to pay out that way.
Okay.
So, and I thought that had something to do with 261. I really did, and I think it does.
Okay.
So, and then 147 is written all over it too. Would that have any connection to Tiger?
Not off the top of my head, but again, I mean,
Okay.
when I decode a golf tournament, I like to do a lot of stuff, so I can't really give you much information without having done anything. But I'm gonna keep it moving. I appreciate it. You have a good night.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
See you.
Call from.
Caller.
Hey, how you doing tonight, man?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm great. Well, I was doing my own decodes, and I'm trying to wake my girlfriend up. I showed her a lot of your stuff, and I just wanted to, throw a few things by you, see what you thought, and then maybe get your thoughts on how I can kind of wake her up, because, I've been with her 15 years, and she's, somewhat a believer, but she's always like, it's coincidence,
Sure.
So, have you watched a lot of the, the Marvel's Avengers movies and whatnot?
I can't say that I have. No.
Okay, well, there's a few things in there that I found was interesting. So, on the first Marvel movie, Captain America, at the end of the movie, he wakes up after 70 years.
I'm aware of this. This was brought to my attention. Yeah, we covered this months ago. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the score of that game was 8-4, so 84, like Jesuit.
Oh.
And then,
Okay, I thought you were going to bring up the Corona beer and the mask and the...
Well, no.
But okay, you were going to talk about how there's a
there's
a baseball game playing. There's a baseball game playing, right? In the audio when he wakes up because they're trying to trick him and make him think it's a long time ago.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, the score was 8-4, like Jesuits 84, and they did have a Corona beer. I did remember that. Yeah, and then also in the Civil War movie Avengers, they're trying to keep them in check. The government's like, okay, you got to sign this, order to we're gonna have a power over you. It's called the Sokovia Accords, which is 56 and 155.
Okay.
And then just like coronavirus, and then also the first Black Panther, not the guy who just died, the actor, is the person who was his father. When he died in a bomb attack, there was 70 people who died in the bomb attack. They killed the first Black Panther.
Huh. Okay.
So I feel like there might be a little bit, in these movies that they're, telling us,
Well, of course, we know that's definitely true. So
other than all that, my question is, how can I wake her up from this sleep? What would your best advice be? What would you think?
Is it a good idea to wake her up? I mean, some people just don't want to be. Some people just don't want to be woken up. It's easier to live the American dream. But I don't know. I would start with something she's interested in, and that she could already has some sort of an understanding about. So, or if she ever.
Yeah. Well.
Or just keep.
I feel like it's gonna be a hard battle because her and her mom are both super big Trump fans, And I keep telling them it's all rigged, they already got who they want to win, before they, But I feel like it's gonna be a tough battle, But I've been with her 15 years, 3 kids, so I'm, want to do the best I can to try to wake her up,
Well, if they start saying 47 a bunch in the next debate again, you can explain the significance of 47. That's always a good number because there's so many examples of it.
And I also I got an email from you on Patreon tonight. I downloaded a book. So I'm gonna start your book tonight, both of them tonight, or not tonight, but tomorrow when she wakes up, and I'm gonna be like, hey, check this out. Maybe that'll help. Just like read it like the first 2 chapters.
Sure, that could help. Yeah, that could definitely help.
I mean, yeah, I just wanted to call in talk about that. But yeah, definitely, I think you should check out these Avengers movies. I think there's a lot in there.
Yeah, I'll check it out. I appreciate it.
I know. I appreciate it. Thanks. Have a great night.
Yeah, take care. See ya. Okay, I wasn't going to stay on this long, but Marcus called in, and when Marcus needs 2 minutes, Marcus needs 45 minutes. Yeah, Marcus likes to talk. But anyway, we can leave it there, you guys. Well, this person's called in a lot. I'm gonna take this last call because they've been real persistent.
Bob.
All right, Bob, you're the last caller. What's up?
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, hey man, what's up?
Just doing the show.
Okay, so I had found something, that there's actually a George Floyd that was, he was a football player, and he was inducted in the Hall of Fame in 1999.
We talked about this the day he died. Somebody called in and brought up this George Floyd, former NFL player, but go ahead.
Oh, okay. I have found this story that maybe I think Rambo would like to see. It was all over the news, and it's married father of 3 wears skirts, heels to work because he can, and it's a thing that clothes are genderless, and he's in like the high heels and a little skirt, and he's 61 years old, and he has 3 kids, and I just thought that maybe that had to do with something like the sacred feminine or something.
Okay. All right. Appreciate the heads up.
Okay, man.
All right. Have a good night.
Okay, good night. Bye.
Something else stands out to me about this George Floyd, the football player, looking at it now. But somebody called in about this May 25th. But look at that. He's from Tampa. Isn't that interesting? Because all this stuff is structured around all these riddles. So... Anyway, we'll leave it there. And some people say that I need a call screener. And some nights that just feels more true than ever. But we'll leave it there. And